Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. Not on Monday Night Football, although we did have our Fiera playing on the Monday Night Football, but we're here in another episode 38 on top of the screen. The title, Captain My Captain, as you guys know, we're going to go over recapping what happened in a rainy Monday night in Leon, recapping the game versus Monterrey. Sorry, guys, for the late kind of delay podcast, various technical issues, but we are here to talk about everything Club Leon in English. Very excited. If you guys didn't know, we are streaming on both YouTube and Periscope at the same time. So everybody who's watching on YouTube and Periscope, thank you so much. And as you guys can see on the screen, we have all the gang is here today. Also on the corners of your screen, we have the QR codes for the Lions Den official podcast. Twitter, you can go ahead and open up the camera and follow us there. And as you guys heard in our intro, we had the porra. You can scan the QR code on the other side for Los de Arriba Oficial to follow them on there. Guys, how are we feeling tonight?
Victorious.
Great. Yes.
Excellent.
We're extremely happy because
Excellent.
Another
another kind of frustrating game to watch for all but one glorious moment, but that glorious moment made up for all of it.
Yes.
yeah.
Definitely.
I forgot about everything else when the goal came
Nothing
in.
else
Yeah, we all
mattered.
forgot
Say.
about first
Nothing
half.
else mattered.
Yeah, first half never happened.
Very rainy Monday night that it looked like it was getting to a point that could be suspended. Although the game was just delayed 50 minutes and there was football. Very weird, just because I feel like even when, they cleared up most of it, the cancha's still not 100% and it's just kind of very sloppy in a way and it's not very, fast paced as usual. So, Carlos, give us a team news and the starting lineup for our game versus Monterrey.
Sure thing. All right. So let's see. We had the usual starting 11, except for two minor surprises. Well, one big surprise. So we had Cota in the goal, and then we had Buron, who started in place of Avion Ramirez. We also had Tecillo and Barreiro holding the back. Jairo Moreno, Jefecito, and Chapo, our savior, in the midfield. Mena and Meneses on the wings. Sosa, and the big surprise of the night was Gigliotti, which we'll get into in just a bit. As far as the team news, I started off with Leo Ramos. I mean, his relationship with the club. We heard some news last week. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but there seems to be a fractured relationship between the player and the club, and it's just a big novela, which we're kind of used to at this point with Leon and their players. But yeah, we'll get into that in just a bit. Also, Jairo Moreno, there were some rumors going around that Porto and Sporting from Portugal were trying to acquire him. Just rumors for now, but hopefully, if a big offer comes in, we'll make some money off of that. Also, Avion Ramirez was left off the roster because I don't know exactly what happened to him, but I know he wasn't physically ready to go. So yeah, he was left off the roster, and none of us knew until game day, basically. But going back to the Le Ramos thing, what do you guys think?
I mean, I just assume see him go. He's clearly not in the plans, and all he's going to do is be a distraction and cause trouble in the vestidor. I can imagine how difficult it is to find a team to take him on at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But even there's too much of a logjam. When you say we'll talk about Gigliotti later, but I liked what I saw from Gigliotti. More than what I would expect to see from Leo. And so unless we just have a slew of injuries right up front, I don't think Leo's going to have any minutes, especially this tournament where we're only playing league matches. There's no Conca Champions, there's no Copa, there's no anything. There's just no minutes for him. So why should he be there causing a distraction? Surely there's somewhere where you can get minutes.
Yep.
I don't know. I just assume see him go, but it's just not that simple in the market right now.
Definitely. I think during the time that obviously he was in I mean, from what I read, he had a foot out of the club, also Sambuesa. Obviously, with Sambuesa, it was able to get fixed. Lo acomodaron a un lado. So I think, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Like Louis said, he is registered. I think, honestly, right now, with this season so important to La Fiera, there shouldn't be any distraction. We just have a solid base. There shouldn't be any of these rumors of, anything like coming in and out. Like it's, even just with the whole like, yeah, I don't see you. That was kind of like, oh my God, like it could have get into their head. And we've talked about it, like, what if, but obviously the CEO situation got resolved in hopes that the Meneses and the Yairo, because again, I think we've stated this team deserves to win a campeonato as a whole. So we don't want to leave anybody out. In regards to Ramos, like, you guys were saying, I don't know what is in his future. And I think we were seeing some things on Twitter about kind of like someone was saying something, he kind of like retweeted the comment, like kind of saying you don't know anything, or I don't know. It was kind of really weird.
There was a report that came out that the sporting director for León told the media he was Ramos wasn't getting any minutes because he was injured or he had like muscle complications. And at the time, Leo Ramos' Twitter was deactivated. So he activated his response to that and say, hey, man, like, this is a big lie, basically.
Mm.
There you are. Sorry, it was kind of like, yes. Like we said, we started delayed just because some technical difficulties. But yeah, Carlos just stated the situation that we saw on Twitter. And it's just things like Louis said, we don't need these kind of distraction at this point. We're trying just to move forward ahead. We have a comment in good company. Whoa, everything looks so much nicer. You are moving up in the world. Yes, we are. We have many other surprises.
That's the idea, man.
So just wait on that in good company. I'm pretty sure you will like what's coming up, but we appreciate you noticing we did upgrade. Now, in regards to the lineup, Carlos said that obviously Gigliotti started. Was that a surprise for you guys? Did you like the Gigliotti Sosa up top, or what are your thoughts?
No.
Starting maybe was a little bit of a surprise. I figured he'd get minutes, but starting that was a minor surprise for sure.
I agree. Yeah, 100%. I knew he would get minutes, but starting, I didn't think against Monterrey he would start.
I had heard beforehand already that he was gonna start, so it wasn't really surprising for me.
Ooh.
Wow.
Exciting for me.
Talking to Martinez right there. Chucho Martinez.
No.
He just called up Jose, hey, I'm just letting you know Gigliotti's going to start. Just pass it on to your team. It's pretty much what happened.
You're legendary, bro. That's what you're legendary. Right.
Yeah, I think obviously we knew it was expected. We knew that Gigliotti, said that he was the team first, and obviously he's kind of had an unlucky kind of run in Liga MX. Hopefully we get to see more of it. I don't know about you guys, and I'm going to question, what are we thinking about Nico Sosa? Obviously we know, take out the whole, he won the Liga thing, obviously last season he barely got any minutes, he got injured. Now, Ambriz les dando la confianza to start. What are you guys, just obviously I'm not saying tell me like a full report from 2 games, official games, but what are your thoughts on Nico Sosa? Like, are you guys like, you know what, like let's just give him more time, I see good things, or I'm not feeling it so far?
I think it's too early. I think it's too early because there's only been 2 games and both of the teams that we've played have basically parked the bus on us. So there's no open field play. There's no and one of his best attributes is his speed. So he can't utilize his speed against the team that parks the bus on us.
Yeah, and I think also because it was raining, maybe because La Cancha it looked horrible, and León is used to, I think, saliendo con pelotas controlada and everything like that. I didn't see the same kind of play that Leon usually does. So I even saw Nico Sosa have to leave the position of his position and go into las bandas and try. He had no other option, and it's too early. I agree, but I definitely it's that's like the positions that most kind of like me preocupa is our forwards. You know, Gigliotti, Leon, and Sosa, because in 2 games we've only scored 1 goal, and it's been by of course, I mean 1 goal, yeah, by Chapo Montes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
well, but
really,
if it's too small of a sample size for Nico, it's way too small of a sample size for Gigliotti. I think they started him because they definitely see him as the starter going forward, but he needs time. He needs as many minutes as he can get as soon as possible to adapt to a new system.
Gigliotti, yeah, I
And
agree.
and that's what he got. I mostly like what I've seen from Nico. So I like how active he looks. I like his effort.
The effort.
And he's kind of playing behind. He's kind of, he's the false nine. He's kind of. I like to see that activity from him more than just the sheer, lack of scoring goals or lack thereof. Right now, he will need to get on the score sheet to be effective at some point. But it's way too small of a sample size, both for him and for Gigliotti, to see what they can bring. I think the field conditions, as you said, Javier, were a factor. They said multiple times on the Marca Claros commentary, which I think is true, that we're used to playing on an impeccable pitch, and our pitch is normally one of the best. As someone who's seen them all many times, I can tell you that our pitch is usually one of the best. Our grounds crew does an amazing job, compared to, embarrassingly, like going to the Azteca and seeing how terrible their pitch conditions are almost always for being such a historic stadium. Ours is not. But our pitch is usually impeccable. And I've been to a lot of rain games too where the pitch has not gotten that beat up. It got beat up.
Yeah, it got beat up.
Something nasty. Yeah. I mean, it was I've never seen it look like that. Luckily we have 2 weeks of away games, so the grounds crew can try to get in there and fix it a little bit. I don't know how they're. I mean, I expect the next time we see it, it'll look impeccable again. We have really good grounds crew, but that definitely last night was a factor. So yeah, I think we should take that into consideration as well. But I generally like what I've seen from Nico. He's been very, very active. You can tell he wants to make an impact, and I think as time goes on, he will more and more.
Well, I think it's like two things. For Nico, obviously the field was a factor, so that kind of played against him, and not just him, against Monterrey and the whole Leon team. But I think what it is too, and I said it before, and Javier said it before, I don't think Leon knows how to play with two. Like this partnership was the one that looked the best out of all the other two. I mean, three with this one, but I still think Leon is just better with one forward. Like this is the one that I think may have like more of a chance, like going forward, of if we want to play with those delanteros. But Nico, I think he probably, when and it's kind of like not fair for him because of the conditions of the field too. But I think he just probably went down to a picking order, and I think, in my opinion, Gigliotti looked better than he did. Like as time went on, Gigliotti kept getting look better, and Nico kind of like started fading away. And I think if Ambris doesn't start with those delanteros in the next game, I expect him to be on the bench, to be honest, and put Gigliotti to get like rhythm. But yeah, I agree with Javier. It's kind of concerning that right now our strikers, none of them seem to find the net. But the other thing that's concerning too, because even last season, or center forward was not our top striker. Like that was Leo Ramos last season, I believe. So that's he had like 3 goals, in the whole season and in the season before that. So what's concerning for me is that where the goals are coming from is from the wings usually, even last season. And right now Mena is not scoring, Menezes is not scoring, and our center forward is not scoring. So all our trio are not scoring, and we had to rely on on a wonderful play by Chapo Montes to get us through that game. If he didn't come out, then it would have been a draw because Mena didn't appear and Menezes didn't appear. Obviously, the field conditions kind of play out a lot because like, we couldn't play how we were accustomed. But
Yeah, our position was
yeah,
off a lot.
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah, it's concerning for sure.
yeah, but even though, I mean, I guess one of the positives that I took away from the game was that I think it was Louis who mentioned it on Monday night that we're not a team that knows how to play under high pressure, but we played really really well under high pressure on Monday night. And even with the field conditions, like we were able to easily, like we had what 66% possession at the half, and I mean at the end we were basically dominating the match. So I saw very little errors, especially from our defenders, mainly Steven Barreiro. But
Well, I want to apologize at some point in the podcast. I really, I want to apologize to Barreto because I think he didn't play.
He's looked good. He's looked
good,
very
yeah.
very solid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
my thing
telling you
about
guys. I told you
my-
guys from
my
the
thing,
beginning, like, how do you preseason? I'm like, I feel it. Go on, Louis.
Louis?
no, sorry, I was just gonna say my thing, Carlos, about what you were saying is that I just get this feeling now. It's only been 2 games, but it's this feeling that teams are content to play for a draw against us. That's how they're going to come and play whenever they face us. You know, they're going to play for a point because they've seen enough of our beautiful play over the last 3 seasons that they don't want to get burned by it. So if a team like Monterrey is going to come out and play that way against us, a team like Puebla is going to come and play that way against us. Like all the teams that don't have near the talent are going to have to play that way against us. So my thing is, we're going to have to figure out a way to play to deal with that tactically. And normally we don't. And normally we don't play well in the rain. We don't play well on bad pitches. We don't get results out of those kind of circumstances. So 2 nights ago, was extremely positive for those reasons because we broke 3 trends at once. We're just going to have to be able to continue to do that because I feel like this is not going to be the last time teams are going to try to park the bus against us.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I told Carlos, and he's like, "No, Monterrey's not gonna do that."
I
didn't think so either. None of us thought so.
They have so much firepower. I'm like, no, they're just gonna run us out of their half.
Well, to be honest, like they did in the first half. Like they just kept coming. Like they just kept coming.
Yeah,
like we just got lucky because they weren't like sharp on goal.
Well, also because Nick Killer had that fire in like the 42nd minute of the first half.
But that was like the one
only
play
one, yeah.
versus like
Cinco,
seis de ellos.
Yeah, I agree. I think they had more possession control. I think Leon was making a lot of errors in la salida, but I do think because I think the first clara of the partido was that one with Mena who kind of centered it to Gigliotti and it went to a corner like in the 19th minute. That was like the first clear kind of almost jugada de peligro. But after that, it was pretty much just Monterrey kind of controlling the ball a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But then the second half, everything I think started changing, especially when Campbell went in. I think that's why the whole Sosa thing is kind of concerning because I think what Sosa did, Campbell did better, and that's the only thing that I have about like lo que me preocupa about our forwards. That's it. I think Leon, even on that condition of the field, I kind of like what they were trying to do. I think if we had a better field, maybe we would have been up also in the first half 1-0. I think the first half was kind of equal in that sense, but I do think they had more possession.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, I don't know. I do feel like a team like Monterrey playing like that in that kind of pressure at the end it's really what we need. That's what in the past we've been kind of failing at. The last minutes of the game. We don't know how to close. I think because of the pressure. And a team like Monterrey, for sure, I think it's a good sign. And who knows what's going to happen against Cruz Azul? If they're going to try, like Jose, I'm with you. I think if I was Ambris, I'd be like, maybe we should play with two contenciones instead of two delanteros. Aquino and Jefecito. But yeah, at the same time, I think Gigliotti, the best thing he did in the whole game was like when he was going to kick and he hit, I think, Celso Ortiz and caused him to leave the game. And I don't know, maybe that's like the best thing I saw from him. But yeah, definitely, I think we need to work better on las definiciones de arriba.
See, like, I feel the first half, Monterrey definitely like did whatever they want. Like they just didn't go like 3-0 at the break because they didn't like score.
Monterrey or Leon?
Monterrey. Like
Yeah.
Leon was just none. It's like
I agree.
consistent.
Because at the half,
It said like towards the end. Towards the end, we kind of like
yeah,
despertamos un poco, and then like at the beginning of the second half, then we kind of like kept going where we left off. But most of the first half, it was all Monterrey. Like it was just because. And I think the other reason why we were fortunate, not just because of like Chapo's like wonderful play, but I think the other reason why we won that game is because I mean I didn't notice. I haven't really gone back and checked, but like where was Funes Mori?
Yeah, exactly.
Funes Mori. Yeah, like Funes Mori coming to this game, like historically, since we came back to first division for Monterrey, he's actually their top scorer in the series against Leon at when they play us at the Estadio Leon, and he didn't show up.
And he was visibly mad the whole game because there was nothing he could do. I think the field affected both teams.
Yeah. Well, the way they were playing, I mean, it was not suited to his strengths either.
Yeah,
that's not the way they would normally play against us or anybody. I mean, they're playing back and waiting for a for a counter. I mean, it's just not. They weren't playing to his strengths, and he's the guy I'm always most afraid of. One of the guys I'm most afraid of in the league, who no matter what is always going to score, even if we win, is always going to get one in against you. Luckily, he didn't, but that was mostly because they weren't playing to his strengths. They just weren't playing to his strengths.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think in regards to our last attacking third, I feel like what you guys have said, obviously you think of, okay, we have Nico Sosa, we have Armando Leon, we have Gigliotti, which I personally like what I saw from Gigliotti. I have hope that, I guess, with more time. What's with the idea of maybe starting Campbell in that position? I feel like, yes, he's a super sub. He's fresh legs, second half, but I would really want to see him more from the start. Do you guys think would be an option of just let's try Campbell as a 9?
I mean, I think it's always an option. I think it just depends on Ambris and what he feels works best for how he plays, for what his experiences in games. I think he just likes him better as a super sub. But I do think he can easily be an option and easily fill Nico Sosa's and Gigliotti's position, as a forward, as a punta. He's played like that before. I kind of want to see it, but it's just one of those things where it's going to be up to him. I don't know. I think that's kind of the same thing with Aquino and Jefecito, it's just. But I think that's more like rotación, because Aquino played against Chivas, and now it's Jefecito. I think it's maybe so they won't get tired. But I don't know.
I think it's because they wanted to start Gigliotti and Sosa, which means they needed to bench another foreigner. That's what we were saying before the game. That could have been a reason for it. My thing is, suppose you do start Campbell, and the game kind of lags. Like you don't score, you don't take a lead in the game. The first half kind of plays out the way it did. then who do you have to bring in as a super sub who can really desequilibrar? You know, that's my reason for keeping him as a super sub.
Like
you know,
against Monterrey,
yes,
you
could start him. Yeah, you could start him in place of Nick Keeler. But if you start Nick Keeler, you give him a chance to get into rhythm. And then if he doesn't, then you have probably what most of the time is going to be the best option for either team on the bench to come in and change the game. I think that's something, especially now with the 5 subs, and especially now with how much the benches are going to matter with conditioning and the layoff and everything. That's just you gotta stick with that as a weapon. So I have no problem continuing to see him come off the bench. I think, how many times have we seen him come in and make a difference off of the bench too? Like a guy who can really come in and make a difference. That's a luxury in Liga MX.
Definitely. So I think we have Chango Loco making presents. Montes went brr and won the game. Yep. Yes, he did. The mud didn't help and difficult to fully critique them based on this game. Yes, it was just a weird game just on both ends. Obviously, Carlos has mentioned it, in Monterrey, you expect them to come out with everything. It was just a very complicated game in the midfield that no team actually were able to finish opportunities. Let's not forget Cota. I feel like Cota is a huge aspect to us, and we have no worries. It's like, oh, we have Cota, like we're good. And even like Carlos was saying, Steven Barreiro looked pretty good. I mean, I think we criticize, but because we want our team to, like, we want every player to come in and just like immediately like get on the rhythm and just like be great. And it's good because we held our team to high standards. So, knocking on wood, he's been doing great so far, and I really hope that he continues to do so. I can't remember which one of us we were talking about off camera about, Mosquera, wasn't starting, but I think in regards to what's it called? Barreiro, I think he's been doing well. We have another comment. Leon MP7. Hey guys, is this Aztec Leon? Yes, on Twitter. Hello. It's good to be able to watch live. I think most of the teams will play us the same Chivas and Monterrey did.
Yes, unfortunately.
That's what I'm afraid of. But that's what I'm saying. We're going to have to find a way to play around that.
That's the thing, though. We haven't.
Mm-hmm. Well, in 2 matches we haven't. But
no,
it's a long season. They have to. They're going to have to, over the course of the season, figure out a way to break that tactic down.
I can't tell you like the number exactly, but I remember matches before this where they parked the bus and we couldn't break. Like, so yeah, I don't think it's the first time that's happened, and we still haven't gotten over it. Luckily for us, like teams hadn't made a habit of playing us like that. But I don't know if like
you guys think Cruz Azul
did it. God knows who else is gonna do it. Like one of obviously the contending teams.
And then next comment. Oh, hold on, give me a sec. He also says, my concern is that the team sometimes does not attack quickly, especially when we recover the ball in the attack and there's a chance to attack 1v1. Go ahead, Louis.
I was going to say the teams that play us early on, I think, when the table starts to take shape and depending on the results that teams need, that's going to start to affect how teams play us later. I feel like teams are going for the draw against us right now. The 2 teams we played have clearly gone for the draw. I don't think that's necessarily teams are not going to have that luxury as the season rolls out, but the teams that are playing us early on where things are just kind of taking shape, I think we can expect to see that at least a few more jornadas. I think Cruz Azul, even playing against us at home, although it's not really going to be a home game for them since it'll be at Ciudad Universitaria. But even with the attacking talent they have, even it being a home game for them, they're probably going to do the same. I mean, things are just kind of taking shape, and people teams don't want to take risks against our attacking talent. Also, they saw that we look so threatening in our preseason matches, especially the first one. Like, no, León is the team that hasn't missed a beat. León is a team that looks still the freshest. León is a team that looks like they didn't take even a week off, let alone 4 months. So I think teams might be cautious against us more than they normally would be, at least starting out. It might not be that way towards the middle and later stages of the tournament, though.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if we have the upcoming doble jornadas, which, like we've mentioned before, we haven't been that great. I'm hoping to turn around for us.
It's a double visita for Leon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's good because our field is in such terrible
field's
shape. They need all the
horrible,
time they can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Before moving on, I'm just going to quickly throw a couple of guys out there, and we're going to rate from a 1 to a 10, 1 being the worst performance of his career with Leon, to 10, the best game he's ever had. Gil Buron. 1 to a 10.
Ooh.
Solid 7 for me.
Wait,
Louis.
against Monterrey? We're just
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Well, he had that last play.
Had that pinpoint tackle. I mean,
Yeah.
we discussed he doesn't give us much of anything on the offensive end. Nothing close to what Navarro or even Avion showed us in the first match. Gil Buron just isn't capable of that. But as a purely defensive-minded wingback, he did what was asked of him last time. I mean, you can't think of a major error he made, and he had that great tackle. Solid 7 for me. Just not more than that, because I mean, he's not capable of contributing on the attack, and we really miss Navarro right now in that sense.
Anybody else agree with Louis?
I'll give him 7. He was a 7 because I don't think he played that bad. I think, but again, comparing to the other people, what I gave them, I'll give him a 7.5, just because that last play made me feel he was a little better than Yairo maybe on the other side.
Carlos, Jose, do you agree? You're in the 7s or higher or lower?
I would have given it a 7, but I think I'm gonna give it a 7.5, and I think it's not just that last. I mean, it was towards the end, like it could either put the match on Monterrey's favor, but he also contributed to Chapo Montes' goal. He actually got an assist because he passed the ball, so he got an assist in that last play. So I think I'll give him a 7.5.
7. Carlos?
Same. I think he's one of the few players that hasn't had much experience on the team and has fit in perfectly with our team when he's been called up and when he started. So I'll give him a 7.5.
And also one other thing real quick. One of the things about having no fans, you can kind of, especially I was watching La Transmisión de Claro Sports.
Me too.
You really hear everything. You can just tell
everything.
Was very happy with Gil Buron with that late tackle.
Saying in TUDN.
I saw it by Claro Sports, but you could tell Nacho Ambriz was very satisfied with Gil Buron.
Yeah, definitely. I think a guy that's very quiet, but I think in regards to what Louis said, Navarrito gives us so much up top, and I feel like in some games maybe we don't need someone that goes up too much. Maybe more kind of stays in the back and defends, just because in regards to whatever opponent we have those players that definitely will catch up to us, especially on a counterattack. And if they're not, they're out of position, then that's when we tend to struggle. Let's go with William Tecillo.
Ooh,
what a
solid 9. Solid 9 for me. He's on another level. He's on another level this season. He's getting to everything.
Yeah.
And getting to it cleanly.
I did see him make one mistake, so that's why I'll also say 9. But he's not good. Okay. He's elite.
Elite. He's fantastic.
He is.
Name a better center back in the league.
I think he's the number position. Top 1, top 2 in Liga MX. I'll dare to say that. And as time will progress, I think he will make it very clear that he's in a league of his own. He's one of those players that you feel very secure with having him in the back. He's a leader, and I just give him a 10 because I'm gonna give Cota a 10. I'm gonna give Montes an 11. So I think the 3 best players I saw in the game.
Jose, Louis, what do you to see you? 9.
I
Louis
said
said 9.
9. I said 9.
He said
Yeah.
9.
He did. He did.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
a
think
fan
I-
of Cecilia.
well, he's our best defender, so you better be a fan.
Yeah. Like King Rafa, bro. Like that's how I feel about
Definitely.
Cecilia.
Yeah, I think 9.
9. Okay. Let's do 2 more. Let's go with Carlos's favorite, Pedro Aquino versus Monterrey, 1 to a 10 performance.
I think
He didn't have as much of a chance to shine as he did in the Chivas
Yeah.
game, where I thought he was one of the best. I mean, I'll give him, let's say, I'll give him a 6.5, but I really want to give him an incomplete. I mean, it's hard to give a full match rating for someone who came on as a second half sub.
Like with Campbell, who also was a sub, I think he was like a 7.5. So I'll give Aquino a 7 or a 6.5 as well. Because I did like what Campbell did. I do think he is a super sub. And Aquino's an incredible player. I want to see him start every single time. But like again, I didn't really see a lot from Aquino. So I'll give him like a 6.5 then. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to
Yeah.
rate subs unless they come in like 50th minute.
Yeah.
There should be a limit. There should be like a limit to what time they come in.
Yeah, because he came in like in 85th or something.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
like there's nothing we could have. But yeah, 6.5. What about you?
And yeah, Jose, we need yours.
So saying 6.5. He just came just to replace jugador por jugador.
Mena,
So
Yeah.
he literally, how Carlos puts it, he got trash minutes.
It's like quoted, like
that is trash minutes, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he came in for fresh legs. That's what a lot of our subs have been. I feel like the only one who isn't is Campbell. He really comes in to try to give something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the rest of the subs have pretty much just been for fresh legs.
Yes. And I think Carlos froze with his thumbs up. Hopefully we get it
Yeah.
back.
No, he's doing fine.
Our
Very
last player to scale on performance versus Monterrey, Luis Chapito Montes. 1 to a 10, guys.
11.
How can you give him anything? How can you give him anything other than a 10? No, I'm going to stay within the confines of the rules here. No 11s, but definitely a 10. I mean, he pulled that. Where did he pull that out of?
I know.
Surprised us, but we really appreciate. We're like, oh my God, Reflazo, Chapito Montes saves us. I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but after that, I was like a sigh because I was thinking, oh my God, we're going to get another tie. Like, we just drew it against Chivas. We don't need this. But he definitely came in to put one in and kind of save the day. So,
Yeah. Glorious 3 points. Yeah.
So we're all saying a 10?
Yeah. What else
Yep.
would you give the number 10? He's a 10.
He's a 10. Number
Yeah.
10. There you go.
Yeah. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Oh,
Let's see. We had another comment. Reporteame said the pressing is the kryptonite of the Leon style play because an opponent who knows how to manage pressing during the 90 minutes can say goodbye to La Octava involved in a new style.
Evolve in a new style. Yeah, we have to evolve in a. Well, no, we can play the same style, but we have to
learn how to close.
We have to be a little more. We have to find a way to still be dangerous, even when they're pressing.
Yeah,
and we have the personnel to do it. We have the personnel to do it. They haven't shown it through 2 matches, but we have the personnel to do it.
I think that's why Natchez is experimenting with different formation too, because he wants to find a solution for any team. I mean, it didn't really work. The field was against it, but yeah, we definitely need to switch it up.
Yeah, and definitely Reporte Ahmed. Don't worry. I think Leon is playing very different than how they played when they won 12 consecutive games. I think Leon is constantly evolving depending on who comes and who leaves. I think even in pretemporada, we're very Nacho is trying to figure it out again with his new kind of players for them to continue to play the way they do, but also change in the aspect of when they're being pressured, and also learn how. I think, don't worry. I think as this tournament progresses, we're going to see, because this game against Monterrey is proof that they are, maybe in the, again, La Cancha did not help at all. Both teams. That's why I think it was 0-0 at the half. It was a game where I felt if it was in a better cancha, Leon would have obviously played like how they're used to always playing. But for sure, I think that the game that Leon plays, and Ambris, I don't think he's the kind of coach that is satisfied, because he's hungry. He wants to win. He wants La Octava. So we'll see about saying goodbye to La Octava once La Liguilla comes, because I think Leon is definitely a contender. And watch out, because Guadalajara, Monterrey, Cruz Azul, those are three really great opponents to start off a liga, a tournament. But yeah, I definitely think that their game is going to evolve.
Yeah, and I feel like some players have evolved. I feel like we've seen enormous from Jairo Moreno. Just simply, he gets better as a season. Every season is just better. I feel like he is just amazing. Meneses. I mean, we have players that are evolving, and obviously the new players that are adapting well. Avion Ramirez, we were all surprised that he was not going to play with Monterrey. Great player that has adapted. Also, Gilburon, very quiet, but he has adapted. So.
Barreiro better. Our backline feels great right now.
Barreiro looks slimmer. He looks better. So I think that's definitely helped him out. And obviously, I guess just giving him more time, and especially to have a partner duo with Decillo. I mean, it just gives you more confianza. So definitely good comments. Now we're going to move on, slowly transition to the preview. Before that, Jose, do you have a stat for us for the day? Yes.
The match, Chapo Montes. So Chapo Montes actually scored his 35th goal in the league on this match. I believe it was it 35th? Yeah. So, and Jairo Moreno, which had a very good game to it, I think. He actually had his 50 appearance for Leon in the league in this match. Let's see what else. And one from our coach. So this last game was actually his 38th win since he arrived in Leon's in all competitions. And that goal from Chapo Montes was under Ambris in all competitions was the 132 goal.
Dang.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Under Ambris.
And one question, Jose. In all of out of all the competitions, how many goals has Chapo Montes scored for Leon? Because I heard that he was already in the top 10 of all time.
I actually got it.
Close.
I was redoing the all the stats from the top 10. So you want all of them?
Yeah.
I can give you all of them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so
you're legendary, bro.
Let me go. And I have it written up here, but it's better if I just look at it over here. So Chapo Montes.
Jose's a walking stat.
Yeah, this is his own segment, Jose's stat of the day. Which I had a slideshow for that, but it will be coming up next week. Go on, Jose.
Okay, so no, you're good. I was still looking at it. Sorry. Okay, there we go. I got it. I got like different ones for like appearances, dude. I'm doing one for that too. It's just that's why. Okay, so Chapo Montes has scored for Leon in all competitions. 52 goals.
I think he's tied with Gulli.
He's actually below. So.
Oh, he passed Gulli.
No, so what it is, I'll tell you what it is. Okay, so Gulli is actually above him because like I check on because you know how like there's like that wiki top scores on
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
I don't trust those. That's why I always ask you.
That's actually us by
Yeah.
one goal. So it's actually 53 goals for Rigoli Peña, and he's actually
Mhm.
on number 9. Then
He's
after
number
that,
9.
it's Capo Montes is tied with 52 goals with Alberto Jorge.
Alberto
And,
Jorge.
and the reason why he's tied is because Alberto Jorge spent less time in León. Chapo Monte has more appearances, so that's why
Yeah.
he's like low. So he's, I mean, you could say he's number 10 right now. Like he's just tied with.
He's always
Alberto
10 in everything.
Jorge, right? and overall, he scored here. Where am I? So let's see. He score. I had it over here. It's 52 goals, no competitions, and then he has scored 35 goals in the league, 8 goals in Liguilla, 7 goals in the Censo. The Censo goals, by the way, I kind of like combined them, so it's both the Liguilla and the league. And 1 goal in the Copa. He has 1 goal in Copa Libertadores.
Okay. Overall, Luis Chapo Montes. Thank you, Jose, for the stat of the day. We'll definitely have every week giving us different stats regarding Leon overall, depending on just whatever Jose gives us. So today, mostly about Chapo Montes, Nacho Ambriz, and just 132 goals, which is insane, but it's awesome to hear. Now, yes, we are transitioning into previewing. Obviously, possible lineup. I mean, it's pretty kind of obvious. We will see if there's any changes. Louis, I know we can't travel anywhere today nowadays regarding, Liga MX, but you have a quick story that you can share with us that you remember of a León versus Cruz Azul match?
I saw the last ever León Cruz Azul in Estadio Azul. Which was a 0-0 draw. The Clausura 2018, which started off with 2 wins and looked promising. We won against Atlas and Toluca to start the season, and then went into the Estadio Azul and drew 0-0 despite dominating the match. And Cruz Azul felt very lucky to even get out of there with a point. And then the season kind of just went downhill from there. But I went. Cruz Azul was my second ever road game, and then another one later was the last one ever that León played at Estadio Azul. So yeah, that was kind of a cool story. Unfortunately, the best game that was played there, Guille Bordizo's header to send us into Liguilla, I was not able to attend that match because I had to play a concert in Outland, Jalisco. So I watched that game from far. That was one of the most painful games until now that I ever had to watch on a screen as opposed to from the stands. A Copa. I've seen a few Copa matches in the Estadio Azteca, but the first one where we won 3-2 in the Clausura 2019. Our Copa run was not good that season at the end, but a free kick goal by Ruben Sambuesa to give us the game winner. And I was in Estadio Azteca. There were maybe 5,000 people in a stadium that seats almost 100,000 people. So that was almost like attending a match played a puerta cerrada. Yeah.
There you go. That was Louis' corner in regards to traveling, obviously giving us a little bit of story time in those Cruz Azul matches. What a memory you have. I can't even remember what I did last Tuesday. Like, it's just insane, the memory.
Not for everything, but for the matches I've attended. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Things that are important to me.
Things are important, definitely.
Yeah.
Quick. Yeah. Javier, quick history note, anything historical in regards to a León versus Cruz Azul game?
Well, I guess maybe the fact that they're going to play in Seúl, which is in a way a neutral, field. I mean, In terms of the games that León and Cruz Azul have played that do not include Azul, Azteca, or León, I think I have to go back to. I don't know. They probably have played in a neutral field, but for sure the most memorable moment of León and Cruz Azul was in 1973 when they played the final. When that was the León of the época, the setentas. That's the reason why they're grandes. There was only really one team that was always like a coco for them because they would play some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful games. Everybody would always tell me like there were great games. A great memory that my uncle would always tell me about León and Cruz Azul from the 70s was Roberto Salomone was always the one who scored on Miguel Marin, who was like the greatest they ever had. Salomone, I think, scored over 20 goals against Cruz Azul. He was always inspired against when he played against Cruz Azul. That in the 1973 tournament, they actually had to play a third game because they tied in El Azteca and in Estadio León. They're both tied games, so they have to go play in Puebla, where unfortunately, and very unfortunately, Cruz Azul won 1-0, or no, 2-1, because Roberto Salomone scored. That's it. That's one of the last times I can remember that they played in a neutral field that wasn't either Azul or Azteca or Estadio León. But yeah, and of course the 97 game where
let's not remember that.
Yeah, let's not.
But that's a good note.
I was gonna briefly say that. That was it.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Not going there. But it is another thing for them. At least since then we've been bicampeones and Cruz Azul hasn't won any liga, so it's not as I don't see it as it doesn't hurt as much now when I look back.
Yeah, when you put things in perspective.
Yeah,
definitely. Thank you. Go ahead.
So you said 1973, right? So is that Leon team the one that they said that they was like really good but it didn't win anything?
No, that was 75. That was the one where well, I think both, but 75 was against Toluca where they had played at they went all the way. Again, it was a weird liguilla because it was like the best 4 teams had to play a quadrangular, and even Unión de Curtidores was up there. So that has to be like the greatest ever season in the city of León. You had 2 teams in the Final Four, and unfortunately, who was it? Curio Santoyo, I think, was the one who made out the goal, but they gave it to Estipuyan, the guy with Afro, Toluca. Yeah, that wasn't. You could say both. You said I like the 1973 team a little better because you had Chepe Chavez, Manuel Guillén. You had great Leoneses playing for León in that time. Of course, Roberto Salomone, Alvarez, and others. It was both were kind of close for León. But again, León was a really good team in the 70s too.
Was that team like when they say that they was like El León Mexica? Is like
no, that was 68. That's when they faced Chivas in La Copa, and they beat them in El Azteca. Both teams play with puros mexicanos, and León was better at that against Chivas.
Yeah. All right.
There you go, Louis. You must feel proud. Thank you, Javier. That was Once Upon a Time with Javier. Also another segment that we'll have on a weekly basis, giving us a historic note regarding whatever match is upcoming. And before we get to prediction time, obviously we are always open to hearing everybody's opinions. We have Reportame, Javier, that said, I disagree with Javier. You say that León is constantly evolving, so how can you explain that León continues with the same errors without a 9, fragile in the air defensively, and Cota being a figure every game?
Easily, it's constantly evolving because they don't have the same players, and they're not playing the same way they played in 2019 with the 12 victorias consecutivas. Now, saying that they haven't won anything doesn't mean that their game isn't changing. I think circumstances have a lot to do with that. I do think against Morelia that things would have been different. In a different era or situation, But that being said, there's no excuses. I do think that León doesn't have any more excuses this season. It's one of the most important seasons. And like I said, let the season end before we talk about saying goodbye to La Octava. I really think that León is doing great things. I think against Monterrey, this last game, I did see an improvement in that sense that they know how to – that there was a lot of pressure and it felt like it was going to be a 0-0 like always, or a disappointing result. and it wasn't. And I think de los errores se aprenden, and I do think Nacho Ambriz is constantly trying to evolve his style of playing, and I think he's going to achieve it. I think has the experience of the last losses that he's had in liguillas and stuff like that. But this is what it's about, man. You can agree or disagree. I'm not here to convince anyone. This is my point of view, and I do think Leon's going to go for la octava. I think it's our year. I think. Why not?
Also, just the thing about Cota being a figure every game, you have a good goalkeeper, so that when you have to make a big save, you have someone who can do it. He made one really, really, really important save against Monterrey. I don't know if that makes him a figura. I don't know if that makes him a figura, but I mean, it's unrealistic to think even great teams are gonna face some shots on goal, and when they do, that's why you have a good goalkeeper there who can stop the shot. So I think Cota is doing what can reasonably be asked of him, considering the quality that he has. I don't think it's about him being a figura every game, but that's just me.
Thank you, Reportame, for sharing. Obviously, we liked the open discussion. We like, going back and forth because obviously we're all rooting for the same team and we all have different points of view, but we will definitely respect each other's point of view. And thank you, Javier, for answering. One more before prediction time. Aztec Lion had said we need more options with Matosa. The long-range shots was one of our main weapons. We do not see those very often now. Like I said, sometimes at the attack, we could risk the possession a little more, in which our own Carlos said, I miss those long range goals by Gaito Montes and especially Elias.
That's the thing though. Like, I think realistically, like the only ones that could do, like, who has scored long shots from the current team, like just Chapo Montes and who else?
Meneses.
Okay, Meneses. Okay. And
I think Jairo has the potential to also score.
Jairo has the potential, but he has to put those shots down.
Even Tiro Libres, he's we're getting clear that he's one of our best shooters.
Yeah, I think he might be our future. Shooter when well, God forbid, like when Chapo Montes is not longer.
In the year 2045.
Definitely great to remember that.
As far as the more options thing, we have plenty of options. We just need them to start being viable. We have we have a bunch of guys who are proven who have yet to really perform. That doesn't mean that they won't. But we have plenty of options. It's not like we don't have options. That's what we have. That's what our team is built upon, is having options. Everybody's dangerous. Everybody up front is dangerous, and even those coming out of the back.
But I do agree, though. Like, we need to start shooting from outside the area more. Like, because when
it's especially been an option for a long time, right?
Yeah, I mean, because usually, because usually, it's not just Leon. Like, any team that wants to open up a team that's parking the bus, what do? They take long shots from outside the area. So that's what we should do. And that's what one of the game. We should do this more often. When that might be the answer.
Maybe this is going to be un parteaguas. Maybe they're going to. This is what Chapo did. Like, you know what? Maybe when it comes to very close games, that is an option. And it always kind of works because Leon, they do expect them to just make these plays centro,
I feel like how Cody said, once we want to get all the way in the kitchen and just pass it, tap it, boom, that's it.
Because they do have the ability.
You can always do that.
Yeah, they have the ability to. They have the players. You see the typical kind of play that you would see during our consecutive win, which they would go all the way down to the line and we're able to center, and we had goal scoring options in front. And I think we have the ability to go all the way inside. But yes, in situations and games like this, cuando está muy trabado and nothing's really working in the last attacking third, we need people to start taking shots at it. obviously, we see sometimes that maybe they do take shots and they're kind of like, why'd you do that? You had someone open. But definitely, I think in games like that, que están casi trabados, kind of in the midfield, there is an option of a Chapito long distance, a Yairo long distance, a Meneses, because we do have.
I've seen Aquino.
Aquino también, yeah.
Yeah.
We have all the goal scoring options, and
Carlos.
what Louis was saying, we have options this time around, and I think it's awesome because it's a good headache for Ambris to have. It's not like before we're like, man, we have all this talent, but when we look at the bench, we're like, man, ¿quién metemos de revelo? Like, we need someone to do the exact same thing as this player. So, we're very hopeful. Obviously, we, hold our team to high standards, so we'll definitely see what's going to happen as the season transcends. We have someone from Periscope. Hola, hello, thanks for joining us. Buenas, llegué tarde, pero aquí estoy. Claro que sí. Now let's go to prediction time, guys.
Prediction time. Da, 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 da.
Okay, we gotta get a jingle started out.
Well, you guys
He started his jingle. Yeah.
Prediction time versus Cruz Azul, Saturday night match, 7 o'clock Central. You guys see it down on the screen. Third partido de la jornada. And let's start off with Louis, your prediction for this match, sir.
I don't know. This is a tough one. Cruz Azul, I don't think they look good against Puebla at all. They did not look good. They did not look that good against Puebla. They had to scrape out a 1-1 draw. It's not really going to be a home game for them. Also, they've got a whole bunch of controversy still in their organization that I think is I don't know. I can't imagine it's getting in the players' heads that much, but it's something to consider. I don't think they are nearly as dangerous as Monterrey is, and I think we're going to go in there into Seúl and get a 2-1 win.
2-1 Leon win. Jose, your prediction.
I going to defer, like not with the score, but I think I actually feel more threatened by Cruz Azul than Monterrey, actually. Like before the game, like after hanging, obviously. But I think it's gonna be very close. Same. I feel like they're gonna be one of the contenders this season for the title, because they even last season we ended 1 point away from them. So and they kind of continue in the same trend. I think it's gonna be 2-1 to
2-1.
Yeah.
2-1 win also, Leon. Javier, your prediction.
I also agree that I don't think Cruz Azul looked good against Puebla, and I don't think they're nearly. I mean, I don't want to say nearly, but I don't think they're as dangerous as Monterrey. They're a good team. I don't want to, underestimate them, but I do think Leon is going to win. It's going to be a similar game against Monterrey, but I think it's going to be a 2-0 win for Leon, and I want Mena to score. Porque es de ley, that's your ex.
La ley de la
let him know. Yeah, it's like Louis would understand. It's like Carmelo Anthony last night against the Blazers and the Rockets. Exactly. It's got to be one of those moments for Mena. Again, always against Cruz Azul. So for sure, I want Mena to score. And definitely one of our forwards, maybe Gigliotti or Sosa, but 2-0.
2-0? 2-0. Javier
I could see
Gigliotti.
I could see GD opening his account in this one. I think this would be a good time for it.
Yeah.
Carlos, prediction.
So a couple things here. I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but I agree with Javier and Louis. I don't think Cruz Azul looked great against Puebla, but I feel like Puebla so far has been the surprise of the season. I don't think anybody expected them to play as well as they have been. Also, I think it's going to be 2-0. I'm going to agree with Javier, and I'm going to go 2-0 because right now we're the only team that hasn't allowed a goal, and I think we're going to continue to keep that clean sheet.
Yeah,
keep a clean
sheet. An important thing to mention, and unexpectedly, we haven't scored, but we also haven't let any in. That's
Yes.
That's laudable.
Yeah, I hope that will become the theme of our torneo, where people are saying, and Cruz Azul, and León is still a team that hasn't been scored on. Like, I want that to be like also because León is known mainly for attacking. I want them to be as equilibriado as they can, and I think it's a good start. 2 clean sheets.
Yeah.
Yes, but at their best under Ambris, they were also very, very good defensive team. How many of those 12 straight wins were? How many of those 12 straight wins were shutouts? I think like five or six in a row were.
Yeah, we were number one in almost everything.
Yeah, I think it was like 14 goals again. No, it was less, was it?
I forgot. You guys are.
It was not many.
At least it was 14. Which is not a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the 3-0 because I like big games. I like now. I would like to see the León that scores an average.
You really want
go big or
knock your ass.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home.
That's fine.
I think we have I think defensively we have a great backbone, and I think hopefully we're keep a clean sheet. So I don't know what's going on with Puebla. We'll have a different discussion about that sometime later. But yeah, regards to Cruz Azul, I think I'm hopeful that we keep a clean sheet and just León comes out with everything. We have Chango Loco giving his prediction. León wins 1-0.
All right, Chango Loco.
We have Israel _Verde 20 said León 1-0. Gol de Gigliotti.
Another thing, we've looked the last few times we've played in Seoul. Remember, this game is going to be in Seoul, and that's a field that's been kind to us recently. Not against Cruz Azul, against Pumas, but still, I mean, it's a place that we've liked to play recently. So
it's going to be a good game. The top 2 teams from last season.
Yeah, that's exactly. I really want to see this game because everybody was saying like, "Oh, that should have been like a final."
It should have been a final. Yeah, exactly.
So we're gonna see, because if that was the best team last season, and this is barely starting, still it's gonna be a team where like, hey, these 2 teams haven't played in a long time. They're 2 teams that have been doing things right so far. If we beat Cruz Azul, it's just like Monterrey. I think it's gonna be a huge confidence boost. Definitely, it's una final that should have been last season. But yeah, it's a good game. It's gonna be a good game.
If we beat Cruz Azul, everyone's going to be talking about Cruz Azul doesn't have enough to make it. They're not good enough to be a champion, and no one's going to say anything about how good León is playing.
That's how it always is, right?
That's how it always is, right?
They said against Monterrey, they said, "Oh, con muchas bajas, León won." Like, get out of here.
Yeah, no. That's how the news is. But as long as we know, and we just don't have to go out there and brag. But yeah, I think sometimes shows like that, they just don't give León enough. But hey, it's good. It's good. We're kind of slowly under the radar. Before we go, Tom Harrison commented. He said, first or second in goals scored every season since Ambris took over. Definitely no need for more long shots. And then Aztec Lion said, Tom, we don't mean to say we need to try that every game, but it's good to have the option when teams play with the partners in the back.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
like we don't have to do it every game, but like
not every game.
What about when we can score? Like how we usually.
Yes, we do. I want them to shoot from the midfield. I want them to shoot from midfield every chance they possibly get. That's what we need to do.
Oh, Louis. Well, guys, there you go. Those are our predictions for the León versus Cruz Azul match this upcoming weekend. Jornada 3 starts tomorrow. Thursday, we have games the next couple of days, which is awesome. The return of Liga MX. And for everybody that has watched us on YouTube and Periscope, thank you so much. In good company, shout out to you, Chango Loco, Aztec Lion, Reportame, thank you for your discussions. Israel Verde, thank you for joining us late, pero you joined us, which is what counts. Thank you for Tom and everybody else that has kind of just left in and out, but we appreciate definitely you guys joining us on the recap of what happened during the León versus Monterrey game, kind of previewing what's going to come up versus Cruz Azul. Hopefully we get another 3 points and just keep adding to keep just escalating on the standings right now, because it's kind of iffy. So, it's kind of early on in the season to determine what's going to happen, but We will see what goes on during the week in regards to the current status of Leon, in regards to some players. But thank you guys so much for watching us. We are going to alternate days just because Leon does play Monday night games. So just keep an eye on when we will be potting. But yes, we will do this on a weekly basis like always. Thank you guys for joining us. Shout out to everybody on YouTube and Periscope. Don't forget to follow us on all social medias. We do have our podcast available on Spotify, iTunes. You can go back and watch us on Periscope and YouTube. Follow us on our accounts because we will tweet live. We do tweet live. Follow at Club Leon EN for everything you need to know during the match, minute by minute, play by play. All the videos, all the graphics will be there. And yeah. Thank you guys once again, and we will see you guys next time on another episode of the Lions Den Podcast.